A shadow hangs over India. A shadow of secrets, whispers of vast lands hidden in plain sight. These lands, they say, belong to no one and everyone. They are the Waqf lands, a legacy of faith and charity, now at the heart of a storm. For centuries, the Waqf system has stood as a testament to the spirit of giving within Islam. Dedicated properties, from sprawling farmlands to bustling marketplaces, were meant to serve the community. The Waqf Amendment Bill, 2024, promises reform, but many fear it heralds a new era of control and dispossession. To understand the storm, we must first understand the calm. The concept of Waqf, deeply rooted in Islamic tradition, is a testament to the enduring human spirit and the desire to create a lasting impact. Waqf, an Arabic word meaning detention or preservation, represents a profound act of faith. It is a commitment to the community, a pledge to support and nurture future generations. It is the dedication of property, in perpetuity, for a religious or charitable cause. This act of giving is not just a donation, it is a sacred trust, a bond that ties the present to the future. Imagine a wealthy merchant, his heart overflowing with piety, donating a portion of his riches to build a mosque, a place of worship and community gathering, a school where knowledge is imparted to young minds, or a hospital, where the sick and needy find solace and care. This is Waqf, a legacy for generations to come. It is a bridge between the past and the future, a means to ensure that the values and teachings of Islam continue to thrive. From the deserts of Arabia, the tradition of Waqf traveled with Islam, taking root in the fertile soil of India. It adapted and evolved, blending with local customs and traditions. Over centuries, Waqf properties proliferated, becoming integral to the social fabric of Muslim communities. These properties were not just buildings, they were symbols of faith, hope, and charity. Mosques rose, sustained by adjacent lands. These lands provided the necessary resources to maintain the mosques and support their activities. Schools and orphanages flourished, funded by the income from Waqf properties. They became beacons of learning and care, nurturing the minds and souls of countless individuals. But as India modernized, the old ways came under scrutiny. The rapid pace of development brought new challenges and complexities. Accusations of mismanagement, corruption, and even land grabbing began to surface. The sanctity of Waqf was questioned, and its future became uncertain. Yet, the spirit of Waqf endures, reminding us of the timeless values of charity, faith, and community. The Waqf Amendment Bill, 2024, arrived like a bolt from the blue. On the surface, it promised to modernize the archaic Waqf system, to root out corruption and ensure transparency. But beneath the veneer of reform, many saw a more sinister agenda. One of the most contentious provisions was the inclusion of non-Muslims on Waqf boards. Critics saw it as a blatant attempt to dilute Muslim control over their own institutions. The bill also granted the government sweeping powers to survey and register Waqf properties, raising fears of potential land grabs. The bill, in the eyes of its detractors, was not a tool for reform, but a weapon of dispossession. The ink on the Waqf Amendment Bill was barely dry when a chorus of dissent erupted across India. The bill, which aimed to amend the management of Waqf properties, was met with immediate backlash. From parliament to the streets of Muslim-majority neighborhoods, a wave of anger and defiance swept the nation. The bill was seen as an attack on the rights of the Muslim community, sparking widespread outrage. Opposition parties, legal experts, and civil society organizations rose up in unison, denouncing the bill as unconstitutional and discriminatory. They argued that it violated the fundamental rights enshrined in the Constitution. Within Parliament, the debate raged. Lawmakers from the opposition fiercely contested the bill, calling it a blatant attempt to marginalize the Muslim community. Opposition leaders accused the ruling party of pursuing a divisive agenda. They claimed that the bill was part of a larger strategy to undermine the secular fabric of the nation. Legal experts pointed out the bill's blatant disregard for the fundamental right to property. They warned that it could set a dangerous precedent for the future. Outside the legislature, the streets became a sea of protest. People from all walks of life joined the demonstrations, united in their opposition to the bill. From Old Delhi to Kerala, Muslims and their allies took to the streets, their voices echoing with slogans of resistance. The protests were marked by a sense of urgency and determination. The government, however, remained unmoved, dismissing the protests as politically motivated. Officials insisted that the bill was necessary for the better management of Waqf properties. The seeds of suspicion and distrust had been sown, threatening to further polarize an already divided nation. The controversy over the Waqf Amendment Bill highlighted the deepening rifts within Indian society, raising questions about the future of its secular democracy. India, a land of dazzling diversity, has long prided itself on its secular ethos. This ethos is woven into the very fabric of the nation, celebrated in its festivals, its languages, and its myriad traditions. Enshrined in the Constitution, secularism is not just a principle but a promise of equality, justice, and freedom of religion for all citizens. It is a commitment to ensuring that every individual, regardless of their faith, can live with dignity and respect. Yet the Waqf Amendment Bill 2024 has cast a long shadow over this cherished ideal. This bill, which aims to amend the management of Waqf properties, has sparked intense debate and concern across the nation. Critics argue that the bill is discriminatory, singling out a minority community for increased scrutiny. They fear that it could lead to further marginalization and alienation of the Muslim community, which already faces numerous challenges. The inclusion of non-Muslims on Waqf boards, they contend, is about diluting Muslim control over their own religious affairs. This move, they argue, undermines the autonomy and self-governance that these boards have traditionally enjoyed. The government's justification for the bill, to improve transparency and accountability, rings hollow for many. They question whether these goals can be achieved without infringing on the rights and freedoms of the community it affects. The Waqf bill, they argue, is not about reform, it is about control. It is seen as a tool to exert influence and oversight over a community's religious and cultural assets, raising fundamental questions about the future of secularism in India. Within the labyrinthine alleys of Old Delhi, a sense of unease hangs heavy in the air. The Waqf bill has struck a raw nerve, reawakening old anxieties within India's Muslim community. Numbering over 200 million, Indian Muslims represent a diverse and vibrant tapestry. Yet, despite their significant numbers, Muslims in India have historically faced socio-economic marginalization. The Sakher Committee report highlighted the community's disproportionate representation in poverty, illiteracy, and unemployment. Against this backdrop, the Waqf bill has been perceived by many as yet another attempt to disenfranchise the community. The bill's provisions have stoked fears of land grabs and economic dispossession. History, like a restless ghost, has a way of haunting the present. As the Waqf bill casts its long shadow over India, it evokes memories of past injustices. The echoes of these historical wounds resonate deeply within the Muslim community. The partition of India in 1947 left deep scars on the subcontinent's psyche. For Muslims, the partition was a period of immense trauma, marked by violence and displacement. In the aftermath, Waqf properties became targets of encroachment and illegal occupation. The Waqf bill has rekindled fears of dispossession, of history repeating itself. The Waqf Amendment Bill 2024 is more than just a piece of legislation. It is a litmus test for India's soul. As the ink dries on the document, the nation holds its breath, waiting to see how this act will shape its destiny. Will it strengthen the secular fabric of India, or will it tear it apart? The bill's passage has already sent ripples of unease throughout the country. Civil society groups warn of a chilling effect on dissent. The international community watches with bated breath, concerned about the potential erosion of religious freedom in the world's largest democracy. The Waqf Amendment Bill 2024 is not an end, but a beginning. It is the first act in a drama that will unfold over the coming years. As the dust settles on the initial wave of protests, a new reality begins to take shape. Legal battles are already underway, with opponents vowing to challenge its constitutionality in the Supreme Court. On the ground, the process of surveying and registering Waqf properties is likely to be met with resistance. The government appears determined to push ahead with its agenda. The future of Waqf in India is uncertain, leaving behind a legacy of division and uncertainty.